Thank you for joining me again in this video tutorial. In this video, we're going to be dealing with optimization on the software aspects, talking about Windows and your applications. Now, first thing I want to point out is that there are a number of tools that come pre-built with Windows for us to use to optimize our PC and keep it up and running. Okay, and some of those tools include defragmentation, error checks, and disk or junk cleanup. So we're going to get to that really shortly, and we're going to start with defragmentation. Now, think of defragmentation as simply a way to reallocate your files on your hard drive. Take for example, if you're working in an office, you have a desk, and imagine you have hundreds of files that come in every now and then for you to look through and sign off, or some to read and make recommendations, or you're doing research, and all those papers lying around. Now, in truth is, if someone comes to you and requests for a particular document, you sure would find it on that table, but it will take you going through all of the junk on your table before finding that paper and handing it over to the person requesting for it. But if those documents, those papers, all of those papers were properly arranged and documented accordingly to how they are arranged, it's easy for you to find the exact document you're looking for, because you already have a system in place that would let you know the exact location of the document. Now, defragmentation is the same way for a PC. When you copy and paste and delete and copy and delete and copy and delete files over time, everything tends to get disorganized, just like the papers on the office table. Okay, and so when you decide to maybe click on the movie to watch, the movie might take a little bit more time to load, because Windows has to find all the pieces and fragments of the same movie, put them together, assemble them, and begins to show you on the screen. Likewise, same thing happens when you run your application or something. So how do we fix this? With Windows tools available, here is how we do this. First, press on your Windows key, this PC like we talked about. You want to open it, click on it once, that opens, and what you want to defragment is your main drive, which is your drive C that holds your operating system. You right click on that and properties. Under properties, you have tools, and here you find the tools. Occasionally you can check for errors. Okay, if for example you use a desktop and you don't have UPS, and the moment power goes off, everything dies. This is something you might want to do very often to ensure that those kind of abrupt shutdowns are not causing errors on your hard drive, because over time, when those errors come too much, your system might eventually just crash, meaning it will affect your boot section of your hard drive, and you might need to reinstall Windows or repair the boot sector for advanced users. Here is where we have defragment your hard drive. So clicking on optimize opens this up. Now, if you have more than one hard drive plugged in, everything will be listed all here. For now, it's just my OneDrive C, which is here. So if you perform an analysis, it will tell you how much fragmentation you have, and then based on the number or based on the report you get back, you will know if you need to defragment or not. So right now, what I have is I have 0 fragmented files, because this is something I do regularly. I deal with lots of data, copy in and delete and all that, so this is good for me. But assuming I had more than 10% fragmented files here, what I'm going to do is click on optimize, and once you click on that, it would begin the process by first analyzing again. Okay, this time the analysis is going a lot slowly, so it would analyze again and then determine if it needs to fragment or not, and if not, it would just stop. Okay, we already dealt with error check before defragmentation. Now the next thing is the disk cleanup. Okay, now the tool is easy to find as usual. Press on your Windows button and search for disk, and you would find disk cleanup. Now for the disk cleanup, because it's going to go into the system root directory where it might require um, administrator privileges to be able to look through some files, it's best to run this as administrator by right clicking and then run as administrator here. And here we are. It will take a while to do, or rather perform, a deep system scan. Okay, sometimes it might take a while depending on, like I said, how big your hard drive is and how much applications and all that you have. Okay, so here we are, and I see all these log files here. I have Windows Update Cleanup, upgrade log files, download programs. You see here I have 3.51 gig of this junk right here. You see this? And then on and on like that. I have some temporary files, thumbnails, 32 MB and all, but this is a major deal. Based on previous Windows updates, this still remains on my PC. Okay, so you can imagine how much space this is taking. It's like what? How many movies? Okay, so in order to get this all cleaned out, all you have to do is select the things you need cleaned. Okay, and okay, I'll just leave my thumbnails. Check these OneDrive files. Okay, could leave that. And then what else? Okay, delivery optimization files. Okay, take that out. Error reporting. So after marking all the things you want to eliminate from your PC, then you click OK. I will ask you if you want to permanently delete these files. You say yes, and it does the magic. Now, other than Windows default apps for optimizing your PC, we previously talked about some third-party softwares that do these things a little better, and you have everything all in one place. And I'll give you a list of them. The one I use, I find that works for me is the A Shampoo Win Optimizer. Okay, so it has all of these features: disk defragmentation, registry defragmentation, junk cleanup, and all that, all in one place. Okay, so I already have that installed and have been using it for a while. So let's jump in there and let me show you what it looks like. So I'm gonna here we are, and this is what Windows or Win Optimizer 17 looks like. Straight out from here, you have an overview tab here, and then you can perform an initial analysis. Okay, now on this analysis is going to check for browsing traces, unnecessary files, registry entries, invalid shortcuts, unnecessary running services, and even your any optimizable security settings. So if I choose to run this now, it will begin with browsing traces. Now this little gadget here basically shows how much processor your PC is using to perform this analysis. So forget to wait for it to get the results. Invalid shortcuts are shortcuts that are left behind after you have uninstalled a program or maybe deleted a file that had a shortcut somewhere else. So even while the original file is gone, some of the shortcuts still remain, and that's what we have as invalid shortcut, which is here. So this is the results, and these are all the things that can be cleaned. You can click on them to get a lot more details about what um, each of them is about. Okay, so now after all of this analysis, all I need to do is click on optimize, and everything is taken care of, and we're all green again. Another thing I want to show you here is in the automatic tab. Okay, now a shampoo wind optimizer has a way of monitoring your system even as you work, and taking out things, um, unnecessary log files or residues of things that you do, cleaning them up to ensure that your PC is always on maximum performance. There's a live tuner also that optimizes your applications as you use them. So if I should call upon an application now, or to click an application to use, what it does is to direct more system resources to that app starting up quickly. Okay, that's what the live tuner does. All right, now you can see from all of my files here, based on all the things I've been working with, accelerated launch for registry and all that. This is from the optimization I just did. And here is Game Booster for those of us who play game. Okay, this still on from my last gaming session just this afternoon. I used that to cool off. So I usually would just turn this on, and then it will terminate some background processes and services to give more room and resource for my games to run. So these are things you want to use to ensure that your PC is at maximum performance and no lagging. Okay, now you don't always have to come here to turn them on all the time. Once you turn on auto cleaner and live tuner, they stay on even after shutting down. When you come back up, it remains on. This is the one you can always turn on and off as you like. I don't need it now, so I can turn it off. Now the next part here is everything in one place that this um, wonderful application can do. Maintain your system, improve performance. You can customize your windows from here also. You can perform analysis for yourself, some file tools. You can use this to find duplicates of the same files on your PC, because sometimes you could have a particular song more than once. You have it in 2, 3 different places because you copy them from different people from with different media libraries and all that. You can also check your disk for error here, just like we did using Windows. You can also encrypt or split up files, permanently delete things. You can recover files also that you previously deleted. Now this is for advanced users. We're not going to deal with that also. Also, you have some administrative tools here. So this is all in one, everything that this app is about. So all of this is then broken down into subcategories here, where you have maintain system. Okay, so you have an option of one-click optimizer. You have a drive cleaner here, just like what we just did using Windows. You have a registry optimizer. You have an internet cleaner to clean out traces or residue left from your browsing. You have drive defragmentation here. Okay, so I'm just going to go into this so you can see what it looks like, just like we did with the other one. So here again, if I have more drives plugged in, it will list them out. So it's just my Windows Drive C, and this gives you a lot more of a better picture of what is happening in your drive. Here you have these labels here: free space, reserved space, unknown, swap, normal, folder, system files, MFT, fragmented, write and read. So this red here shows that some files are fragmented, like some files are fragmented. Okay, but it's not enough. This is actually good. Okay, you need to see some people's drive, like you just find red everywhere. Like, in fact, the red is going to cover the screen more than what you see on my own PC here. So right now, because my live tuner is on, you can see this. I can't click on anything here because the live tuner is constantly monitoring the state of my hard drive to ensure that everything is in place. So most times when I'm less busy or the system detects that I'm not doing anything, meaning it's idle, some of these processes will now kick up and begins to defragment things in its own pace. Okay, but assuming I wanted to run a manual one, now all I have to do is stop this. Now this stop is only temporary. Once I'm done with what I want to do, when I close this, it will go back to what it was before on its own because my live tuner is still on. So here I can perform analysis, and then based on analysis I can choose to defragment. Okay, now here this fragment has three stages: fast, normal, and intelligent. Obviously you should know that this will happen really quick, and then this will happen a lot slowly. All right, so let's try an analysis and see what it looks like. Okay, so click on it and it's begun. Okay, now we can see it's done. Okay, because this is backup. Now it's telling me status ready, proactive defragmentation is currently on. But then if I choose to defragment based on the results I have seen, I can click on any of these things. I can also turn off my deactivate my proactive defragmentation if I choose to, but I don't have to. So also here, if you're going to bed, for example, and you want to start this up and you don't want your system to remain on after the process is done, you can tell it to shut down Windows when done. And the moment fragmentation process is complete, if you're starting it manually yourself, it will shut down your PC for you. Next, I want to talk about is the improved performance part. Now, this is very, very essential because we install lots of applications and many of those applications start up with Windows as Windows starts up. And then it causes the process to be very, very slow and sometimes annoying, especially when you're in a hurry. Okay, so this would help you keep track of all of the applications that start up with your system at boot time. Okay, now here is mine. It's usually a very long list in my own case because I have lots of applications, but over time I have deleted the entries of most of them. And out of all of these things here, you can see that I only have two things starting up my PC. And this is one of them is this app, the Asian Optimizer, and the second one is my antivirus, which I used to replace the default Windows Defender, which is the last thing we're going to talk about. Okay, so just these two processes, so meaning that my system boots up really fast and fine. So even if I'm in a hurry, my boot time is not more than 2 minutes max. I'm up and running. Okay, so that's something really cool you want to take advantage of. Okay, here I have internet tuner. So what this does is you can fine tune your Wi-Fi or your network based on the current connection you have. So what I use mostly is an LTE connection. So that's what it has been configured to. So here you have some other options. If you're using Wi-Fi, this is wireless LAN. If you're using dial-up modem, talking about those what do you call them now? Those dongles, USB dongles for maybe Airtel or Glo or whatever they are. If they're not the LTE ones, then you want to select the appropriate ones here. Okay, and sometimes if you're not sure, you could just tell it to auto optimize for you and you're good. So I'm just gonna undo, okay, and cancel because I don't need to check that. Now another thing also is your process manager. Now sometimes depending on whatever you're doing diagnostics wise or whatsoever, this is for advanced users who know what they're doing. A lot of the time when I get to work on people's PC, I want to look out for activities of malware or viruses or trojans. And the first place I come to look for is to check all of the running processes for anything that looks odd. Okay, I have to look through all of the applications installed and be sure that anything I see that is odd, I can identify it and check it out to be sure of what it is. So this shows me all of my processes. Okay, from here I can terminate any unnecessary process I don't want. Take for example this, I haven't used it in a while today, so I don't need it. I can just terminate it here. Yes, and it goes. Okay, but I really don't need to because I have enough RAM memory to work with, so that's quite unnecessary for me at this point in time. The next thing I want to talk about is the customize Windows menu. Basically here, um, there's really not much you can do sometimes. You just want to look at your tweaking. What this does here is you can make some changes to how you log on to your PC, talking about maybe even a welcome message for yourself when you come in and all that. So just if you want to use the software, you can just play around with it and explore it and see what you get. Okay, now talking about the analyze system. Now here you have a hard disk drive inspector. Now this is constantly checking on the health of your hard drive. So if there's some sort of degradation and failure of my hard disk drive, this application will notify me that my hard drive is beginning to fail. And then that will prompt me to begin to do sudden backups, okay, to ensure that I don't start losing files, and as soon as possible replace the hard drive. So this is something very useful. So meaning that my hard drive cannot catch me unaware. I'm always going to be on the lookout for it. Okay, and then you have this benchmark here to see how well your system performs under certain circumstances. Same thing with the hard drive also. And this Space Explorer basically tells you what is taking what amount of space on your PC. Okay, maybe running it right now will take a while. Okay, okay, let's just go ahead and run it on drive C and see what comes back. Okay, so what it's telling me is this is the hierarchy of my hard drive. Okay, and it's showing me all of the places that are taking a whole lot of space. So users, which is me, talking about my downloads, my documents, my pictures, my music, all of that is taking 60% of my hard drive. My program files, my applications are taking 15%. Windows files are taking 7 point something percent. So this way, if you feel you should have more space but you don't know what's taking your space, you can actually come in here and see have a clearer picture of what's going on. So here I can see what's taking space here. Okay, Michael here, and I can see my downloads folder has the highest usage here, which is 75.4 gig. So if you need to clear out things, this basically will guide you on where to go to get things out of your system, especially things that you've forgotten are there that you probably don't need or use anymore, such as movies or something. For me, everything's all in download folder, so that's the beautiful thing about that. And then here your system information basically would tell you everything there is to know about your PC, from the processor to the motherboard to the RAM to everything, even down to the voltage of your PC, your frequency and all that. So you can get all of that information all here in one place. The hardware, talk about your hard drive. This is information about my hard drive. my Windows, okay, and all that. So even power, my system, my battery status, okay. So basically it's a very wonderful app. All right, and then finally, okay, we talked about duplicate finder earlier, and then we talked about this doctor to check errors. You also find this in the Windows. We checked the Windows version out, okay, and then here we have administrative tools, and you can launch your system restore from here. So from here also you can create restore points or restore your system to a different time. We already dealt with this. So you can see this application basically brings everything to you in one place. So you don't have to be going to Windows to search for them one after the other. Everything is all in one place here. Okay, so here you have backup and management. Essentially, this is a backup. Whenever you try to execute a task, before it does it, it creates a backup of the current thing you're trying to do, you're trying to tell it to do before it does it, so that should in case maybe a task you've asked it to do creates an adverse effect, you can always come back to reverse it. Okay, I'm going to click no here. All right, so the last registry entries, the last task I performed were, I think, 93 registry entries deleted. This was it. 0 days old. Okay, good. So if I choose to restore these registry entries now, because after it maybe I discover something, my system is acting funny, it has created a backup of these entries. All right, I can click and restore if I choose to. Okay, so it's very comprehensive. In as much as it's getting stuff done, it also creates a backup before it executes. So it's easy to reverse an action, which is quite pretty intelligent if you ask me. Quite neat as well. So when it comes to optimization, that's that about third-party utility programs. Okay, now the last thing, or one of the last things I want to talk about before we go, is the fact that you need to have an antivirus, a very good one at that. Now, after this video, the next thing you would see is a list of paid for and free antivirus software that you can use. At the beginning of this year, I spent a couple of weeks testing out over 25 antivirus systems on this PC to be sure of which one works for me. All right, and it's not listed among the top 10, but I found it regardless, and I tried it out, and it was quite good. I was pleased with what it could do. Okay, and the interface is quite simple. I decide to run a full check here, just check now, and it does all that. I can decide to run a custom virus scan. It has some additional tools also, sort of like an optimization set of tools that you can scan, and takes care of quite some really nice stuff. Okay, here is to clean out junk, some of the things that my Win Optimizer would do. And here in the toolbox, it allows you to install some additional things that you feel you might need. Okay, but I don't need all this. All right, and so back here, I want to point out something to you. Now, why I picked this antivirus is because these are all the engines. This thing runs on 5 different engines. So in truth, nothing can actually escape all of these engines at once. All right. Now it makes use of cloud. I'm online. a lot of the times. So when I'm online, I'm safe. It has the system repair engine, which monitors all of these features I just talked about, the cleanup and the toolbox and all that. Here I have its own default engine for antivirus. It's an artificial intelligence engine, okay? And then here I have a Bitdefender engine, and Bitdefender is known to be one of the very best. So without going for the Bitdefender antivirus app itself, I have the engine right here, and I have one of the very best paid ones, and I have one of the very best free ones here, Avira engine. Okay, so I have 5 in 1. I'm well protected. Okay, so this antivirus also installs add-ons to your browsers like Google Chrome, Firefox, or Opera. Okay, now it uses that to help you protect yourself when you're visiting web pages. Take for example, if I'm trying to click a link to a page with a virus or suspicious activity, it would warn me before it loads the page. And if I choose to proceed, it would proceed. But most times, I just go back and go look for somewhere else to look for what I'm looking for. All right, so it's very protective and it works for me and all that. Another feature here I want to show you about this is I'm going to plug in my external hard drive right now, and you're going to see that the moment I plug it in, the first thing it's going to do is to scan the hard drive and tell me it's safe before it lets me use it. So I've plugged in the hard drive right now, and it's coming up. So you see that it gets to scan the hard drive first, and then before it lets me have access to using it. So I can open the hard drive from here or simply eject it if I don't need it anymore. Okay, now last thing I want to talk about is the need for us to back up. Systems failure can happen at any point in time, and so you want to ensure that you always have backup. Either you back up on DVD drives, or if you have big flash drives. I have a 64 gig flash drive, okay, that I use to. You could use a hard disk drive if you have a portable external hard disk drive, whatever, but ensure you have proper backup of your file so that should in case anything happens, God forbid, even if your system gets stolen, you wouldn't um, really lose so much because anything can happen. That's the truth. Now, just to show you, I'm going to open this hard drive here and show you a backup of this particular PC. Don't mind all of these things, but here's my backup here. It's a backup. I have some things on my desktop, my documents, my downloads, my drive C, my music, other backup pictures, videos. I have everything all backed up, and everything amounts to a total of it's quite a lot. It's over 200 gig, I believe, but regardless of all that, let's just close. So it's very important for you to back up, and I'm going to share a little story with you um, at the very end of this training course about my encounter with some clients and their PCs and in their work environments. Okay, so stay tuned for that. Until then, we have come to the end of this video tutorial, which is going to be the last in our series of video tutorials. Okay, so thank you very much for staying with us all through, and let's go on to the next thing. Thank you for watching.